Most educated humans, including top-level scientists, atheists, and agnostics, do not believe in supernatural beings, including even their own souls. They do not use the term soul or even spirit. Surprisingly, they love to use the term consciousness or awareness. Why? The more they are educated, the easier they deny the existence of human souls. Today we want to discuss the issue of stop them before they rip off your soul. We are fortunate that we live in a world where we have knowledge. We live in a multidimensional universe or universes, and we are living in the third dimension because there are infinite dimensions. We are not alone. We have a lot of realms with consciousness and living entities. We learned this from our ancestors who taught us that the realm of humanity and things is below the realm of the gods, the living dead, the spirits, the archons, the goddesses, impersonalized dead people, as well as Musikabantu, who created humanity, is ordered and granted by the not spirit or being creator who is beyond the chasm or Mkaha. So when we are looking at how to stop them before they rip off your soul, we first must be able to identify and define what is a soul. Then look at who is the they. When do they rip off human souls? How do they rip off human souls? Why do they need human souls? And what can you do? So we want to take heed and warning and understanding from our ancestral sage and sages, specifically Kahuti, so-called taught, called Hermes by foreigners, who gave prophecies that have been fulfilled. And we are repeating some of the prophecies that he made. And you can read these prophecies from the Hermetica. You can get this book from Amazon or from any library. He says here, the student of pure philosophy studies the sciences, not as a fanciful theory or fanciful theories, but as devotion to Atema. Atema is the identity or the name that the ancient Kemeticians gave to the unseen, nameless, genderless creator. And then he says, because they reveal a universe perfectly ordered by the power of number. But I foresee that in times to come, clever intellectuals will mislead the minds of men, turning them away from pure philosophy. It will be taught that our sacred devotions was ineffectual, and the heartfelt piety and assiduous service with which we Kemeticians, melanin dominant human beings, honor Atema was a waste without a reward. This is where we stand at the moment, where people do not believe in their own tradition and they call them pagan, heathen, or demonic. And the billions are following man-made religions, philosophies, and ideologies. The overview of our discussion today will be focused on learning how to stop them before they rip off your soul by looking at the redefinition of important terms, identifying you and your soul under sage, and preserving your soul against all odds. Defining important terms means that we have to start off by the term rip off. When we look at rip off, it is like remove the head, cut off the head, and we interpret it as kill. That's why they also kill even statues by knocking off the noses. There is also a second meaning to this term rip off. The term goes on to show that it is figuratively inferring cheating, removing, scamming, swindling, fraud, deception, shame, larceny, racketing, or thievery. We know that the killing of our priests by Ptolemy Soter caused our priests to make Ptolemy a pharaoh and create a false religion that opened the portals, allowing another deity to come in. It is not only Ptolemy that killed our priests. Mlimo, the priest at Matopos, was killed at the behest of Sister John Rhodes. And they removed his head and they cut off the head. In other words, the guardians of the knowledge that we need to safeguard our souls. So who are you? You possess a melanin dominant animal body, an earth suit which you possess as a machine or a vehicle to experience this third dimension. The you, the real you, is a ninefold thing: chinu, jambo, into, kani, pilo, ihe. So we call the soul kakati ba ab kai biti akusahu sekem renyu, which is a technical term that we derive from ancient Kemet, the 9 parts of the soul. But when we come to our language and the languages in Bantu speak, the soul, moya, mweya, umpefumulo, okani, mukupuru, obi. Spirit, umoya, emi, in Lingala is elimo. Then consciousness is nsuho, oruzivo, okuziva, faham, matitwelo, aiji, ulwazi, umgondo. Awareness is vulemkis, that is songa or shangan. Kuziva mata. Then life, upenyu, and this word is very famous in Hamit because there is a bird called benyu benyu, and there is also the word nyunyu, and benyu means that which is alive. They call it ben ben because they think that what it says. And in Igbo, life is ndu. In Kiswahili, life is maisha. And in Tsonga or Shangani is vutom. Igbes aye, that's in Yoruba. And ugupila, that is in Sisulu, Ndebele, and the other languages associated with Zulu. Death, ukufa. Remember Akuf, who built the pyramid? Rufu, rifu, kifo, kafa, okufa. Then we come to wind. This is the physical aspect of the spirit. It's not, wind is not actually spirit, but it represents the physical aspect of spirit. And from it we also derive mamepo, and there's also the other word mavuri, but it's not really connected with the spirit or the wind in this sense, but it's connected with a being. Then human being is muntu or bantu, bina adamu, ukuba muntu, munu wanyama, anyan. Then the self, according to the teachings of Baba Credo Mutwa, is ini or mina. In Yoruba is TRN. We believe that a human being or an animal has something else in addition to the soul. It is an ena. This can be translated quite simply as self. In the Bantu languages, myself is me. Ena, ini, usually borrowed and shortened to mina. So, before they rip off your soul, we should know who are they. From Babu Credo Mushwa and his teaching, we know that every soul comes with ability to be good or evil. And therefore, every spirit has the capacity and ability to also project goodness or evil. Because there is nothing that is totally and 100% good, because when it is like that, it is out of balance. And that soul or that entity will fail. For instance, if a man should only have good qualities in him, he would have no reason to exist at all. If only he has bad, he would be automatically destroyed. So this is a conundrum. But however, as we continue to look at the day, we want to go to Kemet. Because in December 1945, a melanin-dominant farmer, Muhammad al-Samam, found a sealed jars, earthenwares, full of scripts of papyrus that were dated to AD 350. And these papyri are now known as the Nag Hammadi Library. It is from these papyri that we learn of the encounter of humanity against inorganic beings called the Archons, non-human forces, confirming what our ancient ancestors had already taught us, about the spiritual realm that is closest to the third dimension. Ubaba Credo Mutwa taught a lot about the Tauri. And we also, in many other languages, we know the Goritoto or Mazim Zangara or Akeko or Shata. And we know that these are divinities. And these also constitute higher spirits belonging to people who died a long time ago. And some of them were righteous. And there are also evil spirits from either the living dead or the ancestors that were evil in their physical lives. And they act as intermediaries between us and our souls and the dimension, the spiritual dimension in which they are alive and in which their spirit lives. And the human being now walking on the earth has a soul, has a spirit, and the soul has a spirit. So according to the Gnostic Nag Hammadi teachings, these entities, the majority of them, the large part of them, came into being during the formation of this solar system, before the earth was even formed. Once you understand your identity, you will know that your body and soul are under siege from the alien and witches and other evil non-human entities who will eventually rip off your soul or abuse it to produce their food. The soul does not think. It either knows or does not know. It's either awake or asleep. Yet the soul has all the ability to know unlimited awareness greater than the subconscious or spirit or mind. I cannot tell you any spiritual truth that deep inside you don't know already. All I can do is to remind you of what you have forgotten. Unfortunately, the soul is riding a severely limited animal, a human being, the body into a thing, and it is attached to it and operates it as a man who is riding a horse, just as a biological machine. And within this biological machine, there are vital organs, which when the sages taught us, if you know yourself and the food that you eat and the thoughts that you have, this vehicle, this body, will be capable of allowing the soul to express itself with the knowledge that the body is the house of the divinity. Man, know thyself, and thou shalt know the gods. It is from these functional organs, body organs, that the production of energy or food for your soul, as well as for those entities that are stealing and the witches that are stealing your energy, is generated. So we have to consider that before they rip off your soul, the car as a spirit overrides everything in the body and operates everything as an energy. They call it electric or electrical. The brain thinks. The soul doesn't think. The soul either knows or doesn't know. When it thinks or when it receives the thoughts, the brain vibrates and produces an electrical energy, which is a specific energy, or munui, a smell, as our ancestors taught, good or evil. And the outcomes are normally neutral. If you have a right mind, if you are balanced. To produce a good and right energy, you need to align your thoughts and emotions and actions with natural and moral law, Ubuntu or Ma'ati, in total association and the balance with Isfet or the evil aspect, the divinities as well as the righteous ancestors. A critical requirement in this process is knowledge, and the knowledge of the self is essential to initiating change and the cleaning up any unnecessary Isfet or products of Isfet. Being balanced is like being neutral. No witch or alien will rip off your soul or your energy from your soul if you are balanced, because you are in a neutral. So they can't push you. It is your decision. It is your free will. Unfortunately, the earth suit that we have is another evil switch, the Ara complex or reptilian complex. It is the lowest form of consciousness or base consciousness, a truly animal brain that operates but can be controlled totemically if you know your totems to control its energy in your specific totemic brand or spectrum. This reptilian mind is the one that gives you cruelty, ability to be cruel, to be cold-blooded, to be evil, to be hierarchical, to be ritualistic. Therefore, knowledge about it is important, and understanding the human brain is a big part of understanding human consciousness. And that knowledge alone will be capable of blocking temporarily those that are ripping off your soul and your energy via your crown chakra, in other words, your head or your brain or your thought. The car is the spirit, an aspect of the soul, which is electric according to a lot of studies. And the next organ that we are looking at is the heart, which is an electrical or a spiritual power or generator. The heart is more powerful than the brain, stronger, 100,000 times stronger electrically, and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. So that's why our ancestors taught that you will be free yourself when you learn to be neutral and follow the instructions of the heart without letting things perturb you or disturb you. This is the way of Mahati. So when they say ulomoyo omubi, unemoyo wakaipa, or you have an evil heart, they knew what they are saying. You are already inside of his fate. No wonder why Christian God loves your heart and wants it. So this is critical and very important in terms of consciousness, because the heart is the center of your consciousness. And when you die, our ancestors used to take the heart and preserve it. All religions that preach fear, that use heavy entertainment, discordant music, psychological and crowd psychology, such tools, and the media, the propaganda, the policies of government, all the foods, the wars, and the mass-generated emotions stem from the remnants of a multi-dimensional psychological control system designed to manipulate and dupe humanity into throwing away its own potential and save witches and extraterrestrial parasites. They regard our planet purely as a resource for their own energy requirements, whether it's food or minerals. You can stop them dead in their tracks. You have to read our book first to understand the divisions of the deities and to know that fear is not from the creator, because the real creator is not a spirit. The real creator is not a physical being. The real creator does not need human worship or praise or love or anything. It is you who need that love. You that need that love. So you get our book from Amazon and look into this in detail. So what can you do in face of all these that are ripping off your energy? Join a family where Afro salvation knowledge is taught and practiced. You can send an email to join at Marifado to grasp and to join such a family. You have to check that your soul is awake by totemically breaking off from ignorance and false identities. In terms of civilization, which civilization do you pump into, do you connect to? You also need to gain your personal spiritual sovereignty by breaking free from fear, from all basic negative emotions and potential evil issues, and use your free will to go into neutral. And then you must know where you will go when you die. That's very, very important. The evil gods in cahoots with negatively inclined ancestors are directly responsible for changing our human and physical bodies and blood 100,000 years ago, thus causing us to lose advanced abilities we all originally had. They also manipulate our perception to no longer be able to exist in the real world and the real reality by being multidimensional in perception, to become solidly locked into the third dimension via the fourth dimensional interlocks. and pushing our reality to be dominated or trapped in the third dimension. You need to explore this topic deeper and further. How to stop them before they rip off your soul. Send us an email on Jonet Marfado. Till we meet again, your manager Topi, Patricia by LM saying you can do it and you can live freely. Amen.